Mm-hmm.
He says, our faith is unpopular at best and
All right, hold
is
on.
in
I want
wide
to just,
contrast to the faith
I
in
want to get
practice.
the context of what he's saying.
Is unpopular at 7 day Adventists
So,
to do. Because 7 day
in this, what he's about to do now, he's going to read an Ellen White quote, and we're going to break it down.
Adventism is a cult. It is, right? He says, our faith is unpopular at best and is in wide contrast to the faith and practices of other denominations. In order to reach those who are in darkness, that is us, because we're not SDA, of error and false theories, we must approach them with the utmost caution and with the greatest wisdom, agreeing with them on every point that we can conscientiously. All considered should be shown, consideration should be shown for those in error, and all just credit given for them for honesty. We should come as near the people as possible. And then the light and truth which we have may benefit them. So interestingly enough, she teaches, act like you're another Christian denomination.
What?
Right. So this
People keep
is
eating that up.
so this is like, when you're reading somebody's words without context and you're inserting in your preconceived ideas. So
Yeah.
what I thought it would be good to do is just read this in context, right? And this comes to us from Testimony to the Church, chapter 24. Let me see if I have it right here. Here it is. And here. I want to show you who she was actually talking to in the context. So this is Testimony for the Church number 24, epistle number 3. And she was going in on a brother. I'm going to read the first 4 paragraphs, and then I'm going to jump to what he read, so you can get the context of what she's saying. She said, Brother Blank, I have designed to write to you for some time past, but have not found an opportunity to do so until now. While speaking to the people last Sabbath, I felt so clearly impressed with your case that I could with difficulty refrain from calling your name in public. I will get this burden off my mind by writing to you. In my last vision, I was shown that the deficiencies of those who profess to labor in word and in doctrine. I saw that you had not been improving your abilities, but had been growing less and less efficient to teach the truth. She is telling her brother off. You need a thorough conversion. We all do, by the way. You have a strong set will, even stubbornness. You might now have been fitted for the solemn work of bearing the message of truth to others had you been less self-confident and more humble and meek in spirit. You do not love close application, nor the taxation of continued effort. You have not been a persevering student of the word of God, neither have you been a zealous worker in the cause of God. Your life has been far from the representing the life of Christ. So who is she appealing to, as far as an example? To Christ. You are not discriminating. You are not a judicious and wise worker. You do not study to win souls to who?
Christ.
To who? As every minister of Christ should. You have a set track, a standard of your own to which you wish to bring the people, but you fail to do this because they will not accept your standard. You are bigoted and frequently carry things to extremes and thereby seriously hurt the cause of God and turn souls from the truth instead of winning them to it.
Man,
I was
love
shown that you had spoiled several good openings by your injudicious manner of laboring. Help me, mercy, with these words. And what shall I say to you in regard to this matter? Souls have been lost through your lack of wisdom in presenting the truth and your failure to adorn your calling as a gospel minister by courteousness, kindness, and long suffering. True Christian politeness should characterize all the actions of a minister of Christ. Oh, how poorly have you represented our pitiful, compassionate Redeemer, whose life was the embodiment of goodness and true purity. You get the point. That's what she's talking to. She's talking to a person that's like, look, you're very, very prideful in your approach. Now, the quote. This is it, right? And I'm going to actually, this is one paragraph away. It says this. You have turned souls from the truth by harsh, censorious, and overbearing spirit. Your words have been in gentleness, have not been in the gentleness of Christ, but in the spirit of, I guess she left it blank. But we know who it's the spirit of. Your nature is naturally coarse and unrefined, and because you have never felt the necessity of true refinement and Christian politeness, your life has not been elevated as it might have been. You have remained in the rut of habit. Your education and training have not been correct, and therefore your efforts should have been more earnest to improve, to reform, and to make decided and thorough changes. Unless you realize a decided and thorough conversion in almost every respect, you are entirely unfitted to preach the truth. And unless you have a proper and becoming elevation of character, manners, and address, you will do greater harm than good. You have not done much in advancing the truth, for you have lingered about the churches too much when you could not do them good, but only injury. You get the point. So now the main paragraph that she's speaking from is page 184, paragraph 3. Page 184, paragraph 3. You get the point. I mean, I read probably a little bit too much, but it's okay. We read it a little bit. Had your heart been aglow, all aglow with the spirit of truth, had you been sanctified to God and walking in the light as Christ is in the light, you would have moved in wisdom and would have had enough ways and means at your commands to maintain an entrance without going out of your way and aside from your specific work to rail out against others who profess to be Christians. Unbelievers have been disgusted, for they think that Seventh-day Adventists have been fairly represented by you. This is the part that Eric Mason left out. She's saying, like, look, you have people thinking this is what Seventh-day Adventists are about. And they have decided that that is enough. Yeah, the way he acts, that's what a Seventh-day Adventist is. And that they want no more such doctrines. Why? Not because the doctrines are wrong, but because of the way the person was acted. Our faith, now this is what he read. Our faith is unpopular at best, and is in wide contrast to the faith and practices of other denominations. In order to reach men and women who are in the darkness of false theories and errors, we must approach them with the utmost caution and with the greatest wisdom, agreeing with them on every point that we conscientiously can. All consideration should be shown for those in error, and all just credit given them for honesty. We should come as near the people as possible, and then the light of truth we have may benefit them. But brother, and many of our ministers commence a warfare at once. You see the problem that she's speaking against? She's saying this guy was only out for war. This person commences a warfare at once against the errors that others cherish. Let me tell you why you're so wrong about blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you why you're going to wherever you're supposed to be going.
Wow.
And thus raise their combativeness and their set will, which hold them encased in an armor of selfish prejudice, which no amount of evidence can remove. So she's saying, look, we have to give them the evidence. There is evidence for our case. But what you were doing, you were fighting people. You were bringing up the combative nature that they have.